The Leafs are out, and the Blue Jackets are in.
And you know, it's a funny thing. People in Vancouver, Calgary say, wait a minute, talking about the Leafs. Well, listen, it's a big deal around here that they don't make the second round. And first of all, I think what happens is they put such pressure on themselves. You think there's pressure. I've never seen such pressure in all my life. Maybe the Boston Bruins, when we had to do better. But they have to win. They had to do the second round. I think that people would be happy with the second round. What they need is more Shanahans. No, I'm playing Shanahan. They had a couple of Shanahans. This guy was as tough as nails. He was the Cam Neely. Him and Cam Neely were the power forwards. Unbelievable. Play with a broken ankle. I mean,
I remember he fought Bob Probert.
Oh, anybody that was tough on the other club.
Remember he sent you a picture of him with that big brawl between Colorado and Detroit. And there was him roaring up the ice to get Patrick Waugh, who was going after one of the guys. And remember that he sent you a big frame picture.
Yeah, and I have the picture. And let me tell you something, boy, he was tough. You had your head up the whole time Shanahan was around. Now I don't understand, and I don't want to jump on the Leafs because everybody's on the Leafs, but I don't understand. They have talented players up front. There's no doubt about it. They've got talented players up front, but you're never afraid to play them. You're never afraid to play them. Now, look at this year. You look at Washington. They don't have the jump. Don't ask me why. It's when you don't win the cup or you're in the finals, you lose a little something. They don't have the jump. St. Louis, I know Binghamton isn't playing very well, but the jump is there. I could tell a long time ago when the Kings, the Los Angeles Kings, when they snuck in, they had the jump. And you know, Cindy, you asked me earlier, what is a jump? And I can't tell you, but I could tell watching them play.
But you used to say, too, that you could tell even during the warm-ups whether the teams were up for the game or not.
And somebody would ask me, and I knew some games with the Boston Bruins, we just, we didn't have it.
Yeah, I remember Ron McLean tells the story that you guys, back in the Leafs were playing L.A. in the semifinals, and the Leafs were up 3-2, and the game was back in L.A., and you were watching the morning skates, and then you turned to Ron and say, Toronto's not winning the series.
No, and he said, what do you mean Toronto's not winning the series?
Just got to win 1 out of 2.
They were smoking at the time.
But we were talking, Dad, about before. Sometimes we have the show before the shows and all this. But you're saying how the Leafs have to be more of a balance or tougher. And I said, well, how tough do they have to be? But you said, you look at the balance that the Bruins had, how many Lady Byng players you had on your team.
You had Johnny Busick, had Jean Rattel, and Ricky Middleton.
So you had that balance of...
You have to be worried. You have to be worried when you go on the other team's end. No, we didn't have a tough defense.
Well,
boy, you really...
Who were you talking about to the Oilers? And they said they liked playing us.
Oh yeah. Ron and I, we used to sit way up high. And George LaRock, I think it was. George LaRock, of all guys. And he said, so, he'd come up to talk to me and Ron, and we were sitting there.
This is what, during the morning skate?
Yeah, morning skate. And he come up and he says, teams like playing us. So I didn't say anything. He said, yeah, teams like playing. I said, George, don't you think it'd be nicer if they didn't like playing you? He said, geez, I never thought of that. And it's true. You have to have a little fear when you go in the other team's end. Now, I could tell Washington, I'm not saying Washington won't come back, but they don't have that banger, whatever it is, something. And you have to have, when you go in the other team's end, where is he now? Where is he going to come across? And Leafs, they don't have that. And, I could go on what they need. Everybody knows they need a Peter Angelo, they need a Weber, they need a guy like that. So I'm just saying they need more Shanahans on the club and the attitude of Shanahan.
Well, I think the one thing, too, the big thing for me, is some people were blaming Anderson. So let's just, you put a tweet out the other day about Anderson, but we'll just say in 5 games, .934 save percentage, 1.84 goals against, 1 shutout. And
No,
that in 5 games. So what do you do with him? He's 31 years old, just coming into his prime, which most people think he's old, but goalies are coming into their prime. He makes $5 million a year. He's going to get more dough.
Yeah, he get about 7 or 8.
But I don't think the Leafs can afford him.
They'll have. I don't know. I listen. I'm not too smart on that deal, but I know one thing that they got to. You know what? Getting back to what I said originally, they put such pressure on themselves that the first they have to get by. Everybody's, and then they go into the games, and when they want to play that run and gun, when let's go, never mind defense, let's go. They are something to watch. But when they try to play a little defense, you can't play a little defense. You either play defense, and that's how Columbus beat them. They had a good goalie, and they had one guy back all the time. And anyhow, that's enough about the Leafs. People are sick and tired of the Leafs. I hope they do good. I cheer for the Leafs. I've got it on my truck, and them and the Bruins. But that's enough about the Leafs. Okay. Shanahan, get Shanahan. That's all. Get about 3 Shanahans.
Well, maybe you should make a comeback. He looks in good shape.
So what with the Leafs? He's the president or Shanahan?
Yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss.
He's the big cheese.
So, doesn't he have influence on who they trade for and everything?
That's what I don't understand.
I thought if he's the boss and but his team doesn't reflect his personality.
It's easy to say, but they got Clifford, and you know what's a funny thing? And I just thought of it now. Clifford hit the one guy. Remember, really corked the guy in the corner. But what happens is, say the Bruins, and I have to bring in the Bruins because that's what I coached. You bring a guy who wasn't tough. He wasn't tough. And he'd catch the atmosphere. He'd catch the feel of the team, and he'd turn into a rough guy. Not a killer or anything, not like that. But he'd turn into he'd take the body and everything. And I think what happened with a guy like Clifford, he went
the other way.
No, I'm serious. That's what happens when you get a guy that runs around and hits like he did in L.A. I'm not saying he didn't. Remember, he hit that one guy. He tried to. He didn't play that much. Anyhow, that's enough about the Leafs.